Good morning, children. Today we are going to do poem photograph. The cardboard shows me how it was when the two girl cousins went paddling. The poem photograph, which is composed by Shirley Tolson. There, the poet recalls her mother and her memories while looking at a childhood photograph. So the cardboard suggests the photograph. In these lines, the poet is looking at an old photo album which is made up of cardboard. In the picture, there are three girls who are walking on the beach holding each other's hands. So here it is written, each one holding one of my mother's hands. Those two girls along with her mother, poet's mother in the photograph, are the two girl cousins of her. Children, paddling means walking, playing in water. As they were on the sea beach, they were playing in the water of the sea. So here it is written that all the three girls were playing on the sea beach in the water. They were standing where they were photographed, where their snap was taken. And she, the big girl, some 12 years or so. This line suggests about the mother who was 12 years or so visible in the photograph. All three stood still to smile through their hair. Now their hair were tousled when the photograph was being taken. Therefore, when the hair were just on their faces, the photograph was clicked. The girl in the middle is the tallest and the oldest of the other two girls on each side, and both the girl cousins are younger than the poet's mother in the photograph. All the three girls, they are standing, as I said, on the sea beach in the water, where the water was coming and going on the beach, and there the photograph was being taken. At the uncle with the camera, an uncle was clicking the photograph. A sweet face my mother's that was before I was born, and the sea which appears to have changed less, was their terribly transient feet. Children, in the above lines, the poet describes how the photograph was taken. Her mother's uncle, it is said, like the uncle that might be possible who was moving on the sea beach, that was asked to click the photograph, or the mother's uncle, took the photograph and told them to stop and pose. All three of them left their wet hair open and smiled when the uncle was clicking the photograph. The poet's attention is drawn towards her mother's face, which is described as a sweet face. The photograph was taken long before the poet was born. The poet's mother might not have got married, also very small in age. The poet calls their feet terribly transient, as they were so young by then, and now they had grown older with time. On the other hand, the sea which touched their feet has changed less. The sea water that was touching their feet, that is not still changed, that as sea is an eternal part of the nature, therefore it does not change. It takes long time for a sea to change. But the feet of the poet's mother and the girl cousins, they had changed. Here the poet says, watch their terribly transient feet. Transient means temporary, children, and terribly means severely. Why the feet of them are called terribly transient? Because human being is mortal. One or the other day he has to die, while the sea is eternal. There is a complete contrast laid between the poet's mother, the girl cousins, and the sea. Therefore, sea, as it is an example of nature, It is eternal, immortal, and the feet of the feet in the photograph of the mother, poet's mother, and the two girl cousins, they are visible, and the poet calls them temporary. So here children, the poetic device that is used is transferred epithet. Transferred epithet means one image is transferred to the other. The feet is the part of the human body, and therefore it is called severely temporary. While the sea is an example of nature, that is representing nature, that is eternal. So poetic device, transferred epithet, one representing the whole. So feet is representing the whole body that is completely mortal, while the sea representing the nature. Children, here we find lot of examples of alliteration also. Alliteration means repetition of the same sound. Here she stood, like s sound is repeated. So terribly transient, t sound is repeated. These are the examples of alliteration. Alliteration means repetition of the same sound. Then she says that some 20-30 years later, she would laugh at the snapshot. See Betty and Dolly, she would say, and look how they dressed us for the beach. Now after 20-30 years of the photograph being clicked, or the sea holiday that was spent by the poet and her mother, a poet's mother. So here after 20-30 years of that, the mother, she used to laugh at the snapshot, and she would tell the poet to look at her cousins Betty and Dolly and how their parents would dress all three of them up for the beach. They would have planned to take a photograph beforehand, and it might be possible they were dressed for the same purpose. The sea holiday was her past, mine is her laughter. The sea holiday was the past of the poet's mother, and poet's past is the laughter of the mother. This suggests that the poet's mother is no more in the world. Both rye with the labored ease of loss. Both rye means both remain. She is trying to forget about both the past of her as well as the past of her mother. But still they remain. She is trying hard. Labored ease of loss, children, again is oxymoron. Two contrast. Now ease is comfort and labored is trying hard. So she is actually trying to forget the loss, that is the death of the mother, but she is not able to forget, and therefore it is written labored ease of loss. So here the poet says that after 20-30 years, when the mother looked at the photograph and she used to laugh that how they were dressed for the beach and all, that laugh the poet still remembers, because now the mother is no more in the world. Whenever she looks at the photograph of her mother, she remembers the laughter of her mother. And therefore, as the photograph is in the front of her, she cannot forget about the sea holiday, as the photograph is witnessing the sea holiday. And as the mother, when she used to look at the photograph, used to laugh, the laughter also she cannot forget. So she cannot forget about the past of herself, that is the mother's laughter, and the past of the mother, that is the sea holiday. So there are two past, children. One is the past of the poet's mother, that is the sea holiday, and the other is the past of the poet, that is the laughter of the mother. Now she has been dead 12 years, as many years as the girl lived. This suggests, now girl's age was, in the first stanza as we have discussed, the girl's age was 12 or 13 years. So the same is suggested here, that the poet's mother is dead for about 12 or 13 years. And of this circumstance there is nothing to say at all. This circumstance, the death of the mother, she cannot speak anything about the death, because it is written here next that its silences. The death of the poet's mother has muted the poet. It has made the poet silent. Now here the poet says that the poet says in the bow lines that the mother died 12 years ago, and whenever the poet thinks of her mother's death, she cannot explain what effect she has of her mother's death. So death has silenced her mother, which has also left her speechless. So she cannot speak anything about the death of anything about the sea holiday of the mother or the death of the mother, because she loves her mother dearly still, and that has made the absence of the mother, the death of the mother has made her completely silent. The notes of this poem, children, along with the literary devices will be provided in the group just after this explanation in the video.